these are resolved, maybe it's madness. I'm begging you, please pick up the call. You're causing me damage. I should've known, wasn't your fault, don't even matter.
Tuesday, February 18th, we are live from our Shenandoah Esports Arena. One day of snow day reschedules behind us. We have finished, we're caught up, the ship is back on course, and we get to continue our normal schedule, right? We're back with our regularly scheduled Smash Bros. And Overwatch competition here as we look forward to take you through as much of it as we can. I'm Chris Clayton, he's Kevin Clayton, and we could not be more excited to bring you back to Smash Bros. NECC competition as Shenandoah University Varsity will be taking on Ohio Wesleyan in Week 3, not Week 2 like we saw yesterday, of NECC competition.
Chris, we're talking about our home state here, Chris. Big
shout out.
OHIO, love it. But with all of that being said, we go to Shenandoah University, Chris. We got to root for our Hornets. And with that, I do want to take a quick look at the schedule side of things, because not only are we playing against Ohio today in competition, but we will see just a couple other potential matchups going forward.
Yeah, so like I said, back to your regularly scheduled programming here for the rest of the week, right? We had a bit of a weird reschedule, audible call last night, which is why for you regulars might not have been expecting to see me up on the desk, but me and Ben were able to put on a good show last night, and we watched our Smash Bros. Team take their Week 2 reschedule from last week, play that last night, and take a 2-0 victory over UNCW. So exciting stuff out of them, as well as Rocket League, unfortunately going down, but looking very, very strong against one of the toughest opponents they'll play all year long. That brings us to today, right? Tuesday, immediately underneath. 2 games, Overwatch and Smash Bros. Smash against Ohio Wesleyan. Overwatch against Florida Tech, which another another school, strong school, and another school that we have a connection to, because I almost went there. I applied to that school. I don't know if you remember that. We toured that school, so shout out to them. I do believe Overwatch is mid-competition. I'll give you a score update as I hear it, but Wednesday, right, we're back to Tekken. Thursday, we've got our triple header as usual, and Friday, where we will be bringing you Overwatch. So, with all that said, there will not be an Overwatch stream tonight, as they are playing actively out there. We don't have the capabilities, unfortunately, to bring you both of these titles, but we will keep you updated as you need it. For tonight, though, Smash is the name of the game, right? We've got Shenandoah against Ohio Wesleyan, a solid, well-rounded team, but I think if we're picking favorites, it's looking like Shenandoah would be the favorite team in this.
And Shenandoah is going to want this win. There's a difference between going into this kind of with the expectation that Shenandoah is going to win all of their matches. They did go down in a series earlier. I believe it was yesterday's series where they went 1-2. No, that was last week. My apologies. With all of that being said, that is still kind of hanging over them. They still feel the pressure to perform after that match, and they believe that that series was winnable. But when you have that kind of fire kind of really getting underneath you to bring forth all your potential, I think we're going to see a really strong performance from our players tonight, if nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. That loss that we're talking about was last week on Thursday. That was in NECC Varsity Premier. So when we take a look at NECC standings, you'll notice that Shenandoah is still undefeated. But the truth is, this team is competing in 2 leagues simultaneously, and when you lose in one, it absolutely affects how you play in the other. So that's the situation at hand. While they were able to bounce back very strongly last night, we're not done, right? So why not hear from the players themselves, right? We've got Ben standing outside once again with one of the players we will probably see out there tonight on the stage. So Ben, take it away.
I am joined by AJ, our Falco player here for Shenandoah University. First things first, how are we feeling today?
I'm feeling really good, feeling really energized coming off of that win from yesterday. We're just looking to do more of the same today and just see what we can do.
There you go. Good that the team is feeling good. You're feeling good and confident. So let's just dive right into some of the matchup that we have here with Ohio Wesleyan. They have a very strong Isabel player, not a character that we often see in the Smash community, at least in the competitive scene. So what does that matchup kind of look like going into you and the rest of this team?
Isabel's definitely an interesting character, not one that you see every day. We're not super scared matchup-wise. We like to see an Isabel be their best player, but I've had the joy of looking at their VODs and getting to see this player play, and it's definitely a threat, and this player is definitely very good.
Yeah, no, I mean, when there is that one kind of specialist player, even if it might not be a high-tiered character in the Smash community, it is something to be scared of when it does get pulled out. So talking about yesterday, you did have that rescheduled match yesterday for NECC, and now you have another back-to-back kind of situation going on here. You started in set number 2 instead of Kip. What went into that decision, and why did we see that change?
So usually when we start me over Kip, it's some sort of a pace change, like we're looking for something different. We just want to give him a different look. Kyle was looking very promising and very team, so we wanted to make sure that we saved him and kept him fresh, just in case we needed him in the back.
I mean, that makes sense. The puzzle pieces falling into place, and all of those puzzle pieces did play yesterday. We saw all 5 members of this varsity squad. How does everyone feel getting some playtime yesterday going into today, and really just the confidence around this team?
It's really promising and really confident when we get to sort of place these puzzle pieces, like you said, and just sort of use all of our tools that we have to our advantage. Like, we do have 5 very strong, very promising players, and it's amazing to see when we get to fit those players into their different slots.
No, for sure. I mean, everyone is falling into place beautifully. Thank you so much for the interview. Guys, we're going to toss it back to you.
Thanks, Ben. Good stuff there out of AJ. We wish him the best of luck as he continues to prepare for his upcoming series. But exciting stuff all around, right? Getting to see all these different, like they keep saying, puzzle pieces sort of be plucked in and out and applied where needed. This team has got something really cool going on.
Oh, absolutely. When it comes to the sort of game plans that these players have, that they build, not only on the level of the crew battle situation of like really getting into those intricacies of, say, the like who to send in, what is the best sort of play pattern for these players in who should be going first, where should we be sending our players who tend to take more stocks than just the 3, who are these sort of problematic players and stuff like that. But also in the in-game sense, we get to see a lot of problem solving from our players. It's great stuff. It
is good stuff. Now, we've mentioned a couple times that this team got to play their rescheduled match last night against UNCW, and we've got a new toy that we want to showcase. We're going to try something a little new here on the Shenandoah Esports broadcast. We're going to take a quick look back at what went well, what maybe didn't go well last night against UNCW. And Kevin's going to walk us through it.
Yeah, so be patient with me, but I do believe we're going to have some great clips to walk through with all of y'all. So just starting things off, we do see the Pac-Man clip with the fire hydrant, right? We talk about Kip setups all the time, but this is something fierce, Chris. We're talking about a giant hitbox. I mean, huge hitbox that just takes up so much space. We're talking about something that covers this entire space beneath the platform, and when you're playing a fast character like Captain Falcon, out of the blue, yeah, you're going to tap forward once. We'll see here once again on this clip, Captain Falcon just feels the pressure to run forward, try and get a little bit more space against this Pac-Man. Kip trying to call out the shield, but just that one tap alone is enough for Captain Falcon to dash himself into the fire hydrant. That thing lasts so long, it's crazy. But with all that being said, I do believe we're going to try to move on to the next clip here. Yes, we shall. The big thing on this one is Captain Falcon plays such a huge aerial game for the side of the UNC Wilmington University. And because of that, we saw Kip off stage in this very awkward spot. 9 times out of 10, Kip makes it back. This time around, he got spiked down into the bottom blast zone. And I need to clarify something here for all of the Pac fans in the audience. You will say, I'm positive he should have lived that. And you would be right, because most of the time you see that trampoline in place right there. Kip goes up and tries to get a little bit of momentum onto that ledge, but by nature of the slope on Battlefield, it just pushes him slightly to the right, and that is enough for him not to be able to DI back to the platform, or the trampoline, excuse me, and it ends up costing him the stock because of it. So with all of that being said, it was beautiful play and could have worked out great, but this time around, Kip does go down early. Moving on to Igloo's side of things, I want to talk about a setup we see a lot from Igloo, and something that we don't always see the reward from it, but provides so much value. So keep an eye on this egg. That thing covers so much space, so many options, it's criminal. Moving backwards, I want to just take a quick look at the sort of setup we saw from, pardon me. There we go. Sorry, still a new toy, getting used to this. But with all of this being said, we got to see the moment where Avery throws out this egg, and Captain Falcon has a choice to make. He can stay on the ledge, hope his invincibility lingers. He could try to neutral get up, or he could try to jump. And guess what? That egg positioning covers all three options if timed correctly.
That's crazy.
Isn't it? It's wild just how valuable that one move is if timed correctly. Igloo has been getting very good at throwing it out at the right times, so it means it's on Captain Falcon to roll, but on reaction, Igloo can forward smash and take out the stock either way. So it's on Igloo to be the one to make the mistake, but this time around, it pays off in dividends as we see just how valuable that egg setup is on securing that stock, bringing the series forward. Now, want to talk a little bit about Willie's Kazuya clip. If you remember this from last night, I want to just acknowledge once more how crazy it was that Willie had to go off stage for that interaction. We did see the sort of crazy setup where he burns the double jump a little early right here. And because of that, he has no way to get back up to the ledge. And Lucas didn't go down from the spike. So with that, he decides to follow the Lucas, go for the down air. And even so, that doesn't connect in the sweet spot, and he has to go down too. It was such a fluky play, but the right call. He wanted to use that down air to secure the stock, and it didn't work out this time around. The last thing I want to touch on very quickly, this clip here. When you're dealing with a Kazuya Mishima, there are ways to get out of electric combos. This is something you need to get a good grasp on. Everyone says Kazuya does 0 to deaths all the time. How do you lose with this character? You have options. We see it from this Captain Falcon player. He gets hit by the electric, sent up to the top platform. He could either hold in, go right above Kazuya, or he can hold out, go to the platform. Willie makes the guess that he's going to hold in, tries to go for the crouching jab down below, but it doesn't connect this time around. He doesn't make that right call. It's still a 50-50 game. It's not free for you to be taking these stocks as Kazuya, and that is where the craziness of all of this gameplay comes in. It's beautiful stuff.
Well, it is beautiful stuff, and great job to Kevin there taking us through it. That helps a lot, right? Some of these visuals you don't see when the game is moving so fast, and I look forward to using that a lot more. Right, we're gonna learn our way around it. Hopefully, bring you guys a lot of really awesome replays and stuff, and sort of explain what it is that these players are doing and why they're doing it at such a high level. So, great job to you. Good stuff to the players outside on a strong performance last night. Now, let's talk a little bit more about tonight. Right, we've got a matchup ahead of us that does not involve UNCW. It is Ohio Wesleyan. Right, so far this season, Shenandoah 2-0. Series record and has not dropped a game yet through those two series. Can't really ask for a better start. OWU, solid showing so far, right? 500 right down the line. A still positive game record, so they are still finding ways to win regardless, but looking to add to that record here today. We can take a look at the schedule as well, as both of these teams need to work their way through this gauntlet, right? 2 weeks through the season so far. Standings here in front of you. Shenandoah up top there at 2-0. Ohio Wesleyan hanging right in the middle, right? Not a bad place to be through 2 weeks, but trying to climb their way back up, right? A massive win here today it would be if Ohio Wesleyan is able to steal one off Shenandoah.
Yeah, and I mean, if you can try to even things out right here, there are currently 2 universities sitting at that 2-0 win-loss record. If Ohio Wesleyan takes a spot here, that means that a majority of the players in this schedule will have the potential to be on the same standings, and we could really see the skill level between all of these players, but Shenandoah is not going to want that. They're wanting this series win. They're bringing that momentum we saw from the night before, and I'm looking forward to seeing that momentum again here tonight from this roster.
Yeah, these are the classic 4, the starting 4, fluid 5 as I tend to call them. AJ, Kip, Igloo, Willie, and Farambus, all 5 incredible players, but these are the tried and true, right? The ones that we certainly see the most often, and we've started to refer to this as a bridge between Kip and Willie, with all the weapons in the Shenandoah arsenal, right? You see them all gathered there, preparing to take that hot seat, that very open and ready hot seat as we prepare to get into game here. Exciting stuff all around. Shenandoah taking 2 wins off of UNCW and Thomas More. Ohio Wesleyan splitting their games, a win against Misericordia and a loss to Seton Hill. So all that brings us to today, right? We should be getting into game here soon, but an exciting matchup nonetheless between a pretty strong team and a team that's going to have to find a win probably here pretty soon.
Yeah, you want to try and bring out as much of an early lead as you can if you are Ohio Wesleyan, and I do think there is a spot to try and do this against Shenandoah. We've seen a little bit of what Ohio Wesleyan's roster has to offer, and we heard about that Isabel player in particular. You see characters like Isabel who make these sort of jump scare appearances. You don't always expect them, and frankly, I feel like I see Villager more often than I see Isabel, but Isabel has a lot of really just strange setups with the slingshots and the Lloyd rockets and all these other things that you just need to be aware of before getting into that match.
Yeah, and we have a little bit of a sneak peek into the roster that we are expecting to see here tonight from Ohio Wesleyan. We are pretty confident that Isabel will make an appearance, but of I think 7 eligible players, the 4 characters that we are the most confident in are the Isabel, potentially a King DDD, or Captain Falcon, right? That's the same player. A Joker and an Aegis, right? So strong stuff all around. Pretty meta there down at the bottom, right? Strong characters. DDD is certainly quirky, and we've seen this roster, I don't want to say struggle, but not exactly dominate a King DDD already this season. So matchups make for an interesting storyline here tonight.
Yeah, and when it comes to Ohio's Smash Bros. Scene just in general, it's interesting to see a very nice character diversity pool for this sort of matchup. I like to keep up with Columbus's Smash Bros. Side of things, and when I see the top 8, I swear half of it is either Min Min or Steve.
It's
so
kind of nasty.
Yeah, like there's some like strong characters that people have to push through. So seeing some of the crazier stuff today could be a lot of fun. It looks like we got a little bit of matchup knowledge for this starting roster. We will be seeing Kip versus a Mii Brawler getting through the button warm-up and immediately trying to start the game. We do see both players start walking off stage. I do believe that there was a bit of an accidental mix-up between everybody on that call. Mii Brawler appeared to land a hit on Kip. Kip took it in retaliation, it was meant to be a button warm-up, people. It happens, don't get me wrong, but, like, yeah, gotta give the pack some respect, man. You can't be hitting them with them pork chops. Come on.
Yeah, it happens, right? Sometimes players go directly from the button check into gameplay. Sometimes they reset. It is what it is. Now, something to take note, though, is that from this button check, we saw a Mii Brawler be the opening pick. Admittedly, I'm not sure if that is binding, because if I'm not mistaken, we've sort of run into issues with this in the past. But we have reason to believe that that should be binding, which means that we are wrong 2 nights in a row. But that's okay. So, Mii Brawler certainly didn't see that coming, but kind of fits into this sort of niche character pool, or at least semi-half niche character pool. But I'll be curious to see who that might replace off this list.
Yeah, I, for the longest time, was very confused by the Mii characters. Ohio has had there was a lot of potential behind the Mii characters, but it's just kind of strange. Ohio has had its history with Miis, you know. There was a Mii Gunner for the longest time taking over the scene. Right. There was a Mii Brawler player who goes by Ouija nowadays, who did very well back in the Columbus era. But I don't know. Mii characters are a little strange. The only person I see playing it is Esam. Don't know what to tell you.
Which is not a bad sign. That's a pretty respectable fact if Esam is going out and playing a specific character like that has weight to it.
Oh, absolutely. But we also got to acknowledge that my man plays Pika and gets the performances with Pika. You got a heavier character with a similar combo game, and yet it's just by nature of Pikachu being so much smaller. You would think I will say, a pro player picking up any character is definitely a good sign. Like, it means that you're going to get a lot of people, both the pro and the community behind them, interested in the character, trying to figure out the tech and all of that stuff. And Mii Brawler has some definite sauce. You are still playing a character with a very poor recovery in most instances, and if any character can abuse that fact, it is Kip on the Pac-Man.
Yeah, so now we are getting some off-screen developments. I believe that the button check is not binding, is what we are learning from today, which is all right. So all that talk about a Mii Brawler, you can go ahead and forget all of that, at least temporarily. I guess maybe we might see a Mii Brawler down the line, but for now, it will not be the start. Ohio Wesleyan opting to send out Minotaur on the Joker to try to deal with this pack god. So far, not too shabby.
Yeah, Joker is definitely the kind of character to do it. We do see a very nice apple combo from Kip to start things off, earning a nice 50+%. But Arsene is online, and if Arsene is online, I'm expecting Kip to sit as far back as possible. Look at that. Oranges, keys, hydrants, all thrown into the face of this Joker, trying to sit as far away as possible until that bell was online. Kip trying to take that stock early, but instead is able to get away from this Joker now, who was doing an amazing job of equalizing things until Arsene disappears just now.
Yeah, kind of interesting thing we saw on the left side of the screen, the matchup preference. Kip actually really likes this, and I want to take a moment to point out, for those of you who were able to tune into our stream yesterday, Luminosity releases these character tier lists. Joker was put in the S- category by the top 100 rated Smash players, voted on this tier list, and Joker came out that high up. This is an incredible character, but clearly Kip saying that tier lists don't scare me, especially when Pac-Man is as low as he is on the same tier list. Yeah. So, but an interesting little fact that Kip clearly seems to like this matchup.
That hydrant, if it was just a little bit closer, would have taken Kip out. But the trampoline does make the save this time around. The clip earlier gets its vindication, Chris. Kip places the trampoline in the right spot to survive the spike, and we do see both players starting to get up to that super high percent where just about anything will take them out as Minotaur loses their first stock.
This is improvement over the course of 24 hours. This is why we go back and review film, ladies and gentlemen. The trampoline put it right where it needed to be. Impressive stuff there out of Kip. Prepared for the spike. can't finish the job. I'm sure Joker was aware of it, but can't do much about it, right? You're going to take the hit if you can. So a couple counters really coming out of this Joker so far. None of them really paying off, but that's certainly a tendency to keep in mind the longer this series goes on.
That the Joker Arsene going away, giving the invincibility needed for that key to do a whole lot of nothing means that we do see Kip sent off stage, bell in hand, going for the Z drop, does not find anything. But I do like what I'm seeing so far. It seems like both players do a really good job of holding on to their stocks. They're eating a lot of chip damage, both sides. A little bit of the neutral B from Joker and a little bit of fruit from Kip means that the percentages will really rack up. But it's these last hits that we've been struggling to see. Kip able to find a back air there to find another stock off of Minotaur, but at this pace, it wouldn't shock me if Joker is sent even higher up in percentage before Kip even loses this stock.
Yeah, so this was a stat, a sort of pseudo stat that Ben and I came up with a couple casts ago, was like percentage left on the board, right? It's, you know, he drew it from baseball, right?
Whoa!
Runners left on base, but Kip losing his first stock there, unfortunately, will not be able to wipe the 200% off the board. But this idea that, wow, the bell connects and a smash attack confirms. Good stuff there out of Kip, losing one stock along the way. But like I was sort of talking about, this is where crew battles can really fall apart if you let your opponent get up to those insane percentages and you can't finish them off, right? Because before you know it, if that player wins the fight, they wipe all that percentage off the board.
Yeah, Joker is a very strong character. Let nobody tell you otherwise. But there was something that a former Shenandoah Varsity Smash Bros. Player used to tell us, which was the Moon Lady, who was very deliberate about it does become difficult to take stocks at a certain point. There are some people who find their rhythm against Joker and are able to dance around those back airs and the down smashes. The only reason why Kip lost that stock there, he was in that flow state moving around Joker, but the extension on the fire hydrant made that down smash last just a little longer. And because of that, I mean, Kip may have been able to hold on to all three, securing that 225 wiped clean off the board.
Yeah, I wish I could remember the exact phrase that we used, but yeah, it was you know, percentage left unclaimed is the idea. And the reason that came up is because that day in particular, I think it was Kip went on like a, you know, 9 stock run or whatever, and the reason that came together is because he had like 650 or 700% wiped clean by winning the game, right? And that became overwhelming because, you know, you work so hard to get every little hit in, right? Smash Bros, every single thing is deliberate, especially at this level. But to have it all disappear between matches is just an interesting thing that we have to deal with as part of this crew battle format, right? If this was a perfect situation and we could just sub in a player immediately, you know, when player number 1 gets eliminated, that would be cool and all, but this does add, the truth is that's not the universe we live in, and it adds a whole layer of strategy that leans into this sort of protecting your stock gameplay.
Yeah, and keep in mind that this was the blind pick to start things off. Sending in that Joker is a very well-rounded character and could easily cause a lot of problems for Shenandoah, but Kip's Pac-Man is a force to be reckoned with, who is able to just hold on to those stocks for so incredibly long. But now we're getting into the counterpick side of things, Chris. If I had to bet, I would expect the Isabelle to go in next and try to match that projectile game, potentially using that pocket synergy to try and get the fruit out of the way or something along those lines. Really try to suffocate the game plan that Kip has going on. But I don't know, Kip seems to find those sorts of moments where he can run away with percentages, knock people far off stage, and doesn't always need the fruit to do it.
Yeah, and okay, I have an interaction question for you. If Isabelle catches pockets of fruit, does that inhibit Kip's ability to draw fruit in the future? Or can Kip move on like nothing ever happened
to my understanding, if Isabel were to pocket the fruit is gone until that fruit is thrown again.
Okay.
It needs to fully disappear from the match for Kip to be able to pull it out again. And that's why we see those crazy interactions where it feels like the fruit is off screen for so long and Kip tries to go for another neutral B, but nothing pops up. It's because he's very deliberately trying to get that fruit on the timer he thinks, but the fruit goes so far off stage that it doesn't matter. With all of that being said, we got a different matchup on our screen right now. Pyra Mythra on the screen, dealing with the Pac-Man, but a very large percentage already built on this Pyra Mythra is showing why this matchup could be incredibly difficult as Kip goes super far off stage trying to secure that stock.
Yeah, Kip goes for it all, can't quite find it there. So we return back. Oh, man. Mythra's recovery, not super impressive, but the bell confirms once again. I'm pretty sure this Mythra player got stunned like 3 times total in that stock. So that's something to keep an eye out for. If this player is unable to avoid these stuns, that's an easy way to confirm kills. Now, another factor of Pac-Man, getting through that hydrant, right? Can this character deal with that very easily?
I feel like Pyra definitely has a lot of strong hits for this hydrant, but I love seeing how Pyra Mythra players approach this character. It feels like it should be cut and dry. You play Mythra for the early damage, trying to get those combos, and then you use Pyra for the aggressive play calling, trying to secure those stocks. But right now we're seeing a lot more Pyra to start things off, who is trying to take Kip's stock incredibly early, but it hasn't been paying off, and you're losing your speed and your foresight in exchange for trying to secure this stock, and it hasn't been paying off this time around.
Yeah, incredibly early is the phrase that I want to highlight there. Kip is at 80%. That's not exactly a kill percent. I mean, Pyra has some heavy hitting moves that might be able to kill here, but it would take a serious misstep from Kip. Now up to 100%. Wow, there's one of them. Wow, don't mind me caster cursing it up out here. But okay, nonetheless, right, we move on. Kip on his last stock now. This Aegis player on their last stock as well. So a 3-stock lead, and I say it all the time, right? This is where crew battles are made. When you're tasked with just getting rid of that last pesky stock off your opener specifically, this seems to be where Shenandoah can really put teams away.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Little Miss right now. We are seeing the Mythra out, and it is racking up this damage, and they're keeping it past the 70% threshold. Do we see the swap to the Pyra now that Kip is at 80, or are they trying to use the Mythra to try and keep themselves in the game for longer? Mythra's recovery is a little bit stronger, but it also comes at the cost of being a little bit more predictable in certain scenarios. We do see the swap to Pyra, able to get another couple of good hits here, using the Flame Nova, trying to keep Kip in that shield, but it won't be enough this time around as Pyra is trying to play the slow game.
Yeah, look at the range, too, between these two players. Neither one of them wants to lose this stock. An aggressive smash attack out of the Aegis goes unpunished, and they're able to find an aerial. Can't quite finish. Another aggressive smash attack into Kip's shield. Able to find the grab, but it won't quite kill just yet. 140% now on the Aegis. Bells flying. Another smash attack out of the Pyra Mythra, but they still can't find the damage. 128 now on Kip as he finds pulls the apple, but can't find it. Can't get it home.
Yeah.
Now, Key comes out at the side step, will finish Kip's last stock, unable to clean up the Pyra, and now Shenandoah does have to send out their second player.
That was a beautiful dash attack. We need to talk about that for a second, because you canceled out a approach from Pac-Man, the fire hydrant, and the key all with one hit. You were very deliberate with that connection. Little Miss able to cancel out those hits, Kip having to run forward because that setup works so often. This time around, stuffed out, and that means Pyra was able to find an opening to secure that last hit. That was beautiful.
Good stuff. Good stuff out of Ohio Wesleyan, able to claw back a little bit and finally get rid of this pesky Pac-Man that we see cause issues for so many teams. So you've gotten over the hump, right? That's a big deal. A strong start for Ohio Wesleyan. But at the end of the day, they are still down 2 stocks. So SU, nothing to panic about, right? A lot of Smash left to be played. What do you send out to go finish off this Pyramithra?
There are plenty of good options here. I do think there's a spot for sending in either Igloo or AJ as just that bridge to secure the one stock. Igloo, I don't think finds this matchup very favorable, so it leans more into AJ for that side of things. There is also an argument for Farambus, but it's a very aggressive call. You're sending in this Jigglypuff, not so much of what you saw in any given Pyramithra matchup, but because of what we saw in this player in particular. Little Miss stayed on Pyra for a very long time, and because of that, I think there's a way for Farambus to sort of get that combo game going and dance around what the Pyra has to offer, but you're playing a very light balloon against a character who can pop you in seconds.
Absolutely. So, a decision ahead of SU here as they look to make the correct one. Captain Igloo out there probably crafting up a neat little strategy with the rest of the boys, but we will see. We'll let you know as soon as we know. But good stuff out of that Pyramithra nonetheless, right? So far, through 2 characters, we have been correct on our assumptions, right? Assuming that trend continues, and I certainly don't want to jinx it now, in reserves, you've got a King DDD and this Isabelle that we keep hearing about. So does that affect your decision-making now? I feel like it has to with only 1 stock left on the Pyramithra.
Yeah, I feel as though AJ would want to save himself for that DDD player. Whoever this DDD is, their potential to sort of get in there and really just disrupt the game plan of SU is a very real factor. It's always the case with heavyweights. So keep that in mind after we see this round, assuming Igloo can close out this 1 stock against Little Miss. Sure enough, there's that matchup preference, making an aggressive call to Igloo, trying to secure the stock in exchange for just trying to hold on to as much as possible and be that bridge to continue this series.
Yeah, so that graphic on the side of your screen tells us one thing, and that this is a future-oriented decision, right? This is not because SU likes the Yoshi into Pyramithra. It's because, okay, we feel like Igloo can go in and take care of this 1 stock without too much trouble and hopefully look towards their next player.
And this is what I'm liking from Little Miss already. We did see, once again, very good call to try and stay on this Mithra this time around, and it pays off. The foresight coming into play in a situation where Pyra, I don't think, would have been able to make it out. So great play calling from Little Miss, but Igloo doing a great job of securing this early percent. Now looking for these final hits as Pyra is throwing aggressive down air, and it barely doesn't connect, meaning that Igloo takes the advantage away, making sure that that matchup preference does not come into play.
Yeah, so the decision pays off, right? An aggressive choice out of Captain Igloo to call his own number and take care of business, but without too much trouble, SU's able to move on. So, okay, now you have to be thinking, that was a future-oriented decision. What was the matchup they wanted into the Yoshi?
That's a very good question. I feel like Yoshi is such a weird character in Ultimate's larger metagame because you don't always... I feel like a lot of the Yoshi players in Ultimate don't always show up in spaces that you expect. Like, you don't hear too much about these super high Yoshi players. You hear a lot about the Joker, the Fox, these fast, in-your-face characters. But meanwhile, there's this little dino who, again, on Luminosity's little tier list thing, managed to make it into top 15. Made it into the S tier. Our little dino, Chris. That's crazy.
That is crazy. It's crazy to think about. I'm doing a little bit of cheating, as I like to say. I am looking ahead to see how Igloo likes this matchup versus either King DDD or Isabelle. And so far, I see that the King DDD matchup he feels pretty favorable about. So that could be what he was hoping to see, and we are getting a little bit of foresight here that that will be what we do see. So King DDD on your screen, right? Igloo and this SU squad has had to deal with one King DDD already this year. We'll see if this one can take care of business or not.
And here's the thing with SU and dealing with DDDs. Usually the person who's on call to deal with the DDDs is either AJ or Igloo, and I do think in most scenarios, for example, the DDD at GMU, Igloo is the one who tends to close out the case against those sorts of players. So this is why I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I mean, Igloo's sitting at 32, and DDD's already at 150. Just about anything could connect and close out this stock.
Yeah, 150%. And we talk about how these heavyweights can live for such an overwhelming amount of time. They can be so hard to take out completely, but if you're going to smash attack into a shield, you will absolutely be punished for it. So, Igloo taking care of business so far. Now, here comes that interaction that we saw the first time around, right? Igloo has the eggs. The eggs can just deflect those Gordos and send them right back to DDD at full speed. That becomes pretty impressive before you even know it.
On top of that, just the eggs themselves don't always take up a lot of space, or at least it doesn't feel like that, until you're playing a giant penguin. This character has rolled and gotten hit by eggs that were meant to hit this DDD on neutral get-up. I mean, it's crazy how much size can play a factor in these sorts of matchups, and I think we're starting to see why Igloo enjoys this sort of matchup for the potential of just snowballing this lead.
Yeah, man, went for it all there on the forward air, trying to carry this DDD all the way up to the top now, but Gordo dealt with properly. Igloo still unable to quite finish just yet. DDD still just clinging to life all the way up there at the very tippy top of your screen, but not going down just yet. 150% sounding very familiar for Igloo, as it took this much effort the first time around, but an up air, yep, off the jump will finish that stock off. 170 the final number, and one stock remaining for this DDD.
Yeah, we do see Soapy Hat sort of taking a lot of aggressive calls, trying to get these back airs, going for these forward smashes to potentially break shield and secure this lead. But we also are seeing where he didn't go for the nair into the up air, trying to see if Yoshi will burn this double jump, and sure enough, Igloo does, trying to get away, but still has to find the ground at some point, so DDD taking full advantage, Soapy Hat securing a stock for Ohio Wesleyan.
Yeah, something we haven't quite seen much. I talked a little bit with Ben about this yesterday. Yoshi can just jump out of these combos. Wow, forward air into the up smash. Kevin, a little surprised by that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's a forward air into the up smash. Like, it's a combo, I get it. But we're still talking about a pretty big penguin here, Chris. That character, I believe, was at 9D before the forward air, which, saying that out loud, does sound like it should be a lot more clear that DDD should lose a stock off of that, but I don't know. We've seen heavyweight characters hold on to stocks for way too long in these crew battles, so I was just a little caught off guard that DDD was losing the stock in that situation altogether.
Yeah, we watch heavyweights live for way too long regularly on this broadcast, but not that time. So, and if you're an SU fan, you're totally fine with that, right? That's business taken care of, and Igloo not losing, he did lose the one stock to the up air, excuse me. So, King DDD able to at least salvage one stock out of that situation, but still looking pretty dire now for Ohio Wesleyan as they move to their final player, we assume to be the Isabel.
And this is, again, another weird situation where it's a character you don't see too often. Isabel has a great projectile game and is usually able to wall out opponents. I'm very curious to see how Igloo's double jump on this Yoshi will sort of play into this matchup, because it has solid armor on it. We learned a little bit that if a move is too strong, it could potentially be detrimental to Igloo, but on this character, especially Isabel, those pellets don't deal a lot. It's just that there are a lot of them thrown out. Instead, however, we are getting word that the matchup has changed. It is not going to be the Isabel, but a character we saw just yesterday. Lucas has entered the playing field once again.
We're getting uncomfortably good at misjudging the the strongest threat on the other team. This now is 2 days in a row. We were expecting to see the snake out of UNCW last night. It did not happen. We were expecting to see the Isabel here tonight. We will not see it, at least just yet. Now, I could be mistaken, but I think that is the name of the Isabel player. So maybe a decision here to bail on the Isabel and opt for the Lucas pick into this Yoshi?
Yeah, and that would make sense. I imagine it is a matchup preference, and maybe that double jump does play a pretty large factor. So you're trying to play a character to really equalize things. Lucas going very deep off stage and able to make it back. That speaks to the skill of this Lucas player. This isn't some random secondary. This is one that does have very strong potential, but at the same time, Igloo is able to secure the first stock this time around.
Yeah, so correction here, it is not the Isabel player. So again, interesting decision no matter what, whether it's a player decision or a character decision, no matter what.
Man.
Now, this Lucas in a bad situation without a jump can recover from pretty far away, but running out of options. Can Igloo make it back? He absolutely can, and Lucas most certainly cannot. Very, very well defended there, knocking Ohio Wesleyan down to their last stock left.
Chris, who let these dinos fly, as well as who let the child fly? This Lucas going off stage, getting the back air, but again, this dino is soaring to the heavens, securing 67% on this Lucas. Crazy stuff. I mean, it's beautiful to see that off-game pressure because, again, it speaks to the level of competition we are watching. A lot of players get very scared off stage, so to be so determined to go all the way off and really secure these final hits is what it takes to secure victories overall.
Yeah, okay. Strong stuff out of both of these players so far. Now, on their last stock, right, we talked about percentage left on the board. Lucas does have an opportunity to wipe away some of the issues so far in this matchup. If he's able to take this stock, he gets a clean slate, at least a clean one stock, heading into the next player, but going for it all there with the up smash. One of the longest landing delays, ending lags, there we go, in the game. And is promptly punished for it. SU taking a 1-0 lead in the series.
Yeah, very aggressive call from this Lucas player to try and close things out, trying to catch the Igloo jump over, which we did see a couple of times already on that stage, but Igloo already kind of trying to space it out, being at a high percentage himself, tries to take a step back and willingly is patient, and because of that, it causes the Lucas to throw up that up smash in what appeared to be nothing, but it was a very deliberate call. There was a lot of planning behind it. It could have paid off in dividends, but this time around, it doesn't do just that.
Yeah, so no matter how we got there, here we are, right? SU up 1-0 in the series, and now Ohio Wesleyan forced to come up, dig deep in their bag of tricks to find a solution, right? Is the solution this Isabel, this fabled player that we did not see in that first series? Maybe they're preserving themselves for maybe better odds in a set number 2? Not sure, right? But either way, something's got to give, right? SU finishes with, what, 7 stocks remaining?
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deficit. That's a big hill to climb, and one that Ohio Wesleyan needs to find an answer to now.
A very similar start to what we saw yesterday, Chris. We saw Kip go in first, securing a majority of the stocks in round 1, and then Igloo closing it out. A repeat this time around against a different university, but does that mean we will see a similar situation play out to what we saw yesterday? Will we see AJ and Farambis get some playtime early on, or is Shenandoah going to send in this Pac-Man to just try to brute force their way through this, making sure that there is no stone left unturned?
Yeah, you raised a good point. Yesterday, we got to see all 5 players of SU squad go in and get some playtime. Do they opt for something similar, or is yesterday enough? I don't know, right? We'll find out soon, but SU's got some options ahead of them as well, right? There's just about anything could happen, but if you're SU, you got to feel pretty good about how that went, right? The pressure is not on SU to change anything. It's now completely up to them if they want to sort of almost experiment, if they feel that necessary.
I'm wondering, I personally would love to see that Pyramithra player, Little Miss, I believe it was, go up against Kip's Pac-Man like another time. I think they started to formulate a very strong game plan and started whittling away at Kip, but this time around it just wasn't enough from what I remember to really hold on to all of their stocks. So potentially going into it with what they learned first this time around could be that answer. You also have to keep in mind, though, Kip is a very sort of setup-based player, which means that you may not see everything. You need to be able to adapt on the fly. That Mithra definitely did a lot of that for the side of Ohio Wesleyan, but can you do that in a matchup that is inherently a little bit weird?
Yeah, and another matchup that we didn't, in my opinion, get to see enough of was the Joker. Because if you remember, Joker did take... All right, hold on now. Joker did take Kip all the way up to a high percent on his second stock, so that was a little bit closer than the score made it out to be, and that was a slow series. But enough of that, right? We are back. It is, okay, the in-game name is Little Misses, but it looks like this is not Little Misses. This is a Captain Falcon, who I believe is the King Dedede player.
Soapy hat swapping from big and beefy to slim and lean. Going for the Captain Falcon pick. Chris, if I had a nickel for every Captain Falcon I saw this week, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice, especially considering Captain Falcon in this game is a little bit worse than he has been in previous iterations. Does that mean that he earns a spot? He absolutely does, but just because of that, one little offstage interaction trying to go for the knee means that he will instead get spiked by the Falco side B.
Wow, okay, we talked about offstage interactions and how every little moment can be so scary for every Smash player. Oh, man. Soapy Hat finds a forward smash from the platform, from center stage, sending AJ all the way to the blast zone. Man, little interactions are what matter here. The laser connecting off stage, again, making the difference where Captain Falcon has one option to recover, and AJ's all over it.
Yeah, AJ doing a really good job of trying to stay below this Captain Falcon, is trying to stay in line with the Captain Falcon. Trying not to approach from above is what I'm getting at here. Captain Falcon has a great air game, especially when dealing with someone right above. That means that you want to try to approach from the side. So AJ using the side special to try and get the momentum started. But Captain Falcon doing a great job utilizing the speed to dash back and get the advantage off of the whiff punish.
Man, I feel the need to take a breath. I really thought we were just going blow for the first minute and a half of this game, but it has slowed down a little bit, but not in terms of percentage, right? Both of these players able to rack up some good combos of their own. Captain Falcon going for 2 smash attacks in a row, spot dodge and make it a third. He will get punished for that one. 117% now up on this Captain Falcon, and those lasers, man, they are flying out. The moment this Captain Falcon's off stage, that stuff matters.
Yeah, we do see Captain Falcon trying to go back for the ledge, potentially catching AJ in the air, but AJ very deliberately trying to secure that spike, going a little bit higher, means that we will see a very strong opener for Shenandoah this time around.
Yeah, players are happy with that one, the team's happy with that one, and AJ's certainly happy with that one, right? Solid performance all around, did lose the 1 stock in the middle there, but nothing to be ashamed of at all, right? Walking away, opening the series with 2 stocks still in your bag is not bad at all.
I will never get tired of watching Captain Falcon, because that character truly is just all speed and has so many moves that just hit like a truck. It is crazy just how beefy that character feels in some situations, but we did see some of the weaknesses of the character where, because AJ was able to sort of take advantage of Captain Falcon off stage, it ended up leading to their demise, and it just is unfortunate, but the name of this game. If you can play confident off stage and really have an understanding of how your opponent wants to recover, that makes the difference between securing a stock or potentially losing your own.
Yeah. So now with, again, presented a uncomfortable decision of who do you put in to try to claw back this lead for Ohio Wesleyan, we can safely rule out the King Dedede, right? I mean, okay, I guess I shouldn't say safely, but like pretty confidently rule out the King DDD, as that was the DDD we saw in set 1. So the Joker, who we saw start last time and somewhat go toe-to-toe with Kip, is still in reserve, right? Maybe not used to opening, not sure how the Ohio Wesleyan system, or not used to coming in second, but might have to here today, and it looks like I was correct.
There you go.
So, yeah, we're, again, receiving a little bit of foresight. We will be taking you into game here momentarily, as it will be Joker trying to take 2 stocks off this Falco and try to even this back up.
This is a character that can do just that, Chris. We're talking about a very good combo-based character who may be able to play it slow, potentially Rebels guard the setup or the lasers from this Falco, but this time around starting things off, opting not to use the Rebels guard, accepting that combo to start things off and saying, hey, I'll return one.
Good
Watch
Lord.
this. Drag down combos. Here we go, baby.
Yep, that's the name of this character, right? Minotaur certainly knows what it takes to be successful on Joker, and a lot of it are these drag down combos. Oh, an aggressive call out there by Minotaur, trying to either find the roll or maybe just thinking the side B would go through them, but AJ living to see another day so far. And I want to take a moment to appreciate that I thought AJ played incredibly well yesterday against UNCW, finding a lot of combos and just stringing a lot of the confirms. A lot of the textbook Falco plays just looked very clean. So I'm glad to see it coming together again today.
Yeah, great stuff all around, as we do see AJ giving Arsene the respect that persona deserves. It is a powerful beast to behold, but this time around, it will not get too much value as AJ decides to play the patient game. But we're back in this situation now, where Joker probably needs one more solid combo before closing out the stock. On the other hand, AJ is just looking for that final hit, going off stage for that forward air, potentially looking for that back air as well, but it won't be anything this time around. Instead, Joker finding a little bit of chip damage on this Iha means that it will even up the percentages, and we may see the final hit as Joker is getting awfully close to a second Arsene run for this stock.
Yeah, that's a sleeper difference maker in this Joker's kit, right? The Iha or the Aegon, if Arsene is out, that percentage really adds up, right? I forget the exact numbers of how much it applies, but it's a lot more than it seems in the back throw. Can't quite find the kill just yet, trying to go for the down gun, but can't interrupt the upbeat either, so we find our way back on stage to very high percentages, and I think that was a back air. It was so quick that I'm not even confident in that.
Yep, both players opting in for the back airs, but because AJ was able to space out that side B, it goes behind Joker's back air and secures that stock, but in return, the percentage already building up, Minotaur able to secure it with a down smash, as yes, both players have secured one stock, but AJ's lead is offering him so much value. A couple of good up tilts going off stage for the forward air. The Arsene is offline and the stock is secured once again.
Okay, this is exactly what I was talking about yesterday. AJ's combo game really felt like it came alive yesterday. A lot of the sort of textbook Falco stuff, these combos that start with those up tilts, were really coming together, and we see more of that today. The counter does come out that time around Arsene. The problem with Joker, right, the more you hit him, the more he gets that Arsene meter. Now, the recovery also very strong. Tetrakarn, Makarakarn, that counter is so very strong, but not enough to find a kill, at least just yet.
Yeah, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Minotaur. Not using the counter early on in this game means that AJ had tried to take advantage of it and was finding openings. This time around, using it to get out of these combos. These strings aren't inherently true, so trying to take advantage, using as much Rebels Guard as possible to try and get Arsene online and potentially close this out. Going for the back air, but it barely doesn't connect. Trying to cover the landing options, but the down smash doesn't connect either. AJ going up into the air off of the side special, won't find the back air. Instead, Minotaur finds a back air of their own and is able to take AJ out, but at what cost?
Yeah, I mean, outstanding performance there by AJ to go in and take 5 stocks as the opener for SU. Good stuff all around. Certainly can't be disappointed in that, as now Shenandoah gets to choose who they want to deal with this Joker and presumably go forward into I guess we assume a Pyramithra again.
Yeah, that was probably the best answer to deal with this Falco, was to try and even things out in the best way without asking too much of a player. When you're in these sorts of situations, you can either find your lead by securing an extra stock on the opponent you're sending yourself into, or the opponent who's coming up next, which means that right now, yes, you sent Joker into that even matchup preference we saw on the left side of the screen, both players saying, yeah, it's all right for both of us. We get away with both of our game plans and we just see who comes out on top. 2 stocks traded for both sides. It's now going to be on this player to try and secure one more. And if you're playing Joker, you get Rebel's Guard a little bit faster. You get that gauge a little bit quicker because you're down those 2 stocks. It can work out in your favor, but you gotta play to that advantage. You gotta be very deliberate. The moment Arsene is online, whoever is sent in next, you better believe that they are not running away.
Yeah, absolutely. And, okay, so we saw Igloo be the one to go in this situation last time, right? Not sure how the Yoshi-Joker matchup feels for Igloo in particular, but you got to think that, okay, if we saw, based off what we saw yesterday, right, we saw AJ come in as the opener when they felt like they wanted to change things up, and they ended up putting in all 5 players. They could be looking for something similar here today. Does Farambus make any sense to try to deal with Joker now and carry into an Aegis matchup, or is that too much of a nightmare?
I don't know. There's definitely this spot where you can try and brute force this Joker stock with a Jigglypuff sort of rest setup potentially, or just keep Joker off stage with the back airs. But if we're talking about a character who can pop Puff, I also think that Joker is very scary in that regard.
Yeah.
Especially if we're expecting to see Arsene twice during this round, I'm expecting not to see the Jigglypuff just yet, maybe a little bit later on.
Yeah, so looks like we are receiving a little bit of our foresight once again. Our superpower of being back here in the casting booth is that we get to know maybe 3 seconds before you do. As we load back into game, right, the reveal is on your screen, and it looks like Minotaur wants exactly none of this. But Willie is the answer for SU. Player number 2 now going in to try and take as many stocks as possible, and this is where things get scary for OWU. This player commands respect, and look at the crouch dashes immediately coming out.
Chris, we're on FD.
We are on
FD. Chris, we're on FD.
He
Joker's
might
going
just
down. Chris, we're on Final Destination, and it's Kazuya Mishima. What are we doing, bro? What are we doing?
So that's the fun part about getting stage counterpick, right? Joker, I mean, you saw the matchup preference for all 10 seconds that we were in game. Willie got to pick the stage. He takes you to a stage where you get no platforms, you get 0 escape options, and Willie just laughs his way into player number 3 for OWU.
Okay. Let's acknowledge this here. We talked earlier about how platforms can really mess with a Willy combo. When there are no platforms, I would love to see a stat of how often people ban Final Destination against Kazuya, because it should be 100. It's probably not. It's probably closer to like 95, but still. And I understand why you don't ban it. Willie has been an anchor for Shenandoah for so long that you expect that to be the norm. But I'm wondering if Shenandoah's trying to experiment with giving Willie a potential setup for Final Destination on Kazuya. That is gross.
Yeah, just let him run.
That is foul to think about. Because I will not say you are securing 3 stocks. That is absurd to ask that for any player. But if you want to talk about bridging, giving Kazuya FD whenever he wants it is insane.
Yeah, okay. I would think, let's talk statistically. I would say that if Willie goes on Final Destination with Kazuya, I would say that the stage pick alone amounts to basically 1 free stock for Willie. Right? It's not, you said it's not going to guarantee all 3. It's not like he's going to take it every single time. But there will be a moment where where Willie can just run away, can absolutely take you out like we just saw. Maybe it won't happen at the very start of the series. Maybe it happens partway through where you just lose one because you're on Final Destination. But you're right. That's a scary idea and a scary possibility for this team down the line. With that behind us, right? We have to move on eventually, so we'll do that now. Player number 3 out for Ohio Wesleyan will be the Pyramithra as we get right into the action. One platform on this one, and that's going to be a problem with if Willie has his say.
Yeah, and we're starting to see why this matchup is so preferable for Kazuya. One good version of those grabs could send Mithra flying. We do see the electric combo online, immediately sent to the heavens, and it hasn't even been 30 seconds, Chris. Kazuya is online. Willie looking really good right now.
Yeah, good to see Willie in his rhythm again, right? We haven't been able to see him really start clicking so far. I mean, I would say at least for a while, but this feels like a proper return to form here as the kill button is online. Reminder, Kevin, he paid extra money for this character, but I guess so did Pyramithra, so I can't talk all that much. Point is, comeback mechanic is online. He's standing still, Kevin.
He was looking for that rising Dragon Fist, I believe is what it's called. That would do so much damage, Chris. Look at how crazy of an angle that sends. She's not making it back, Chris. The recovery is so important to be dealing with Kazuya. Look at that. Willie immediately went for it again on Pyra getting off of that platform because it could just end the stock right then and there.
Yeah, so finally getting one stock off this scary demon man, and he's chasing after your rolls. The timing can't quite land. She might just be dead. She gets stunned again off the roll. She gets grabbed. Will he get more? Oh, man, almost gets a stun again, but can't quite confirm it into a kill. Can't get her off stage. 100%, though, off that whole interaction, and like 3 correct guesses mean that she gets stunned again. Oh, man, Willie doesn't look for it all just yet. The up smash will not land, and we are back. We get to breathe for just a couple seconds.
Yeah, Willie was definitely looking for the auto turnaround to play the factor of that last hit. It doesn't work out this time around, but he does follow the Pyra off stage, does not get the down air to connect, but the up special will, which means another 3 stocks fall, and Willie secures another handful of stocks in exchange for 1.
I don't even know what I just saw from the team there, but good for them. Willie unleashing right now, right? Being properly unchained and sent to go feast as much as he wants until he is content. So, with 1 player left, now, we don't know if this Isabel is out there or not. This player did not make an appearance in set number 1. It was a Lucas instead. Not super familiar with who this Lucas might have in their kit, or if it's safe to expect a Lucas. But either way, I don't love Lucas into this.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen so many Lucas players start playing really aggressive games because they can. It's weird how a character with so many projectiles can have a decent boxing game in your face, but Lucas is that sort of character. Does that mean that you should be boxing with Kazuya Mishima? No.
No.
Right. But when we saw Lucas up against Kazuya yesterday, we saw that the grab into electric didn't work at 0. And that's a big factor for Kazuya. You will see Kazuya's crouch dash into your face and go for grab all the time, because that's just the nature of the character. Like, you find your grab, and that's one of your best combo starters, and it deals with the best tool to get away from Kazuya being shield. So now, do you send in that Lucas? Do you have that Isabel in the background? Maybe you start throwing that slingshot, throwing those projectiles, but I don't know. There's so many... Kazuya is such a weird beast. He's such a strong menace. There's so much that goes into it. There are so many answers. You just got to be confident.
Yeah. So, and another thing to keep an eye on, right? I think it's safe to assume that we won't be going back to Final Destination.
Right. Man, that... Can we go back to that for a second?
We absolutely can.
Let's assume, right, this makes an appearance. Everyone in the league knows that there's now a Kazuya on the loose who is trying to just get everything online and really get their game plan going, which means that every round we get 2 stage bans, maybe 3. we have to dedicate one of those to FD every single time? That's crazy. Speaking of crazy...
A great transition there, Kev. So here comes our superpower again, right? We know what we're going to see a couple seconds before you do, and it sounds like the final answer for Ohio Wesleyan will be Plant Gang. Piranha Plant is making an appearance on our stream. Shenandoah Varsity Smash Bros. Highest level of NECC competition. We are seeing a Piranha Plant come in to try to deal with this Kazuya. And again, I mean, I think the graphic speaks for itself. I think this matchup speaks for itself. Willie couldn't like it any more.
Yeah, Chris, I'm very curious what the Plant's game plan is going to be going into this match. We do see a lot of rapid jabs coming out to start things off, going for the grab, securing a little bit of percent. Maybe they will be able to secure a good amount off of that Patui, but the electric combos are going to return it in stride, as we do see Willie has only taken 23, secures that grab, gets onto the platform, couple of crouch jabs into a reset, one quick jab, but Piranha Plant is able to say, I don't want to deal with any of that. Goes for the Patui, but it doesn't offer much as he gets hit by the Dragon Fist and immediately gets hit by a rising uppercut and only secures 12% on that stock alone.
Man, we are not even a minute into this game, right? We are
no,
approaching the minute mark, and he might not make it to the minute mark. Oh no, the electric is the fist is not electric to close it out. We do elapse the minute mark, and I say that as if it's a bad thing, but the forward smash does finally finish the job, and Willie goes in, takes 3 stocks, gets a big stretch, and goes about his business.
Did Willie have something to do after this? I feel like he was a man on a mission who said, listen, my laundry's in the dryer, you know, I gotta rearrange my sock drawer, like, there's something that this man needed to do, because he's walked in and said, I'm doing my game plan whether you like it or not. That was a beautiful performance by Willie, and I love seeing that.
Yeah, that was awesome to see for many reasons, right? We haven't been able, so far this semester, I feel like we haven't really been able to see Willie go on one of those runs in a while. So good for our mental health here around SU, right? Getting our weekly or bi-weekly dose of Kazuya Mishima, I guess. Yeah, I won't even.
Scary demon man.
So, okay. I mean, with that, SU takes a 2-0 win in the series, right? I feel like we blinked and it was over, but much credit to that Ohio Wesleyan squad, right? There were certainly bits to be proud of, absolutely. We do sit and wonder maybe we were wrong about the Isabel, but whatever it may be, right? That the Pyramithra looked great, in my opinion. Didn't have a fair shot, in my opinion, in that second set. But plenty to be happy about if you're Ohio Wesleyan, and plenty that they can take into their next series as they move down to 1 and 2.
Yeah, I do think a lot of that came down to just a matchup knowledge check. I mean, you do expect to see Kazuya all over the place, but especially with Willie in particular, he's so good at getting that game plan off every single time. It just feels like it's so incredibly difficult to deal with. I mean, we're talking 7 stocks here, Chris. What a menace!
Yeah, if we're picking MVPs, right, certainly one of the stars of this series, Willie going out, taking care of business, right? We've certainly seen this before. We see it in clutch scenarios. We see it when we don't need it at all. One way or another, it manages to find its way to the surface. And 7 stocks taken, 1 stock lost is a pretty good average to walk away from today with.
Yeah, I mean, talk about the strategy that just evolved from sending in Willie early and finding a final destination pick. I mean, he has to be excited for what sort of game plans he can cook after that.
Yeah. Well, we can hear just how excited he is. He's standing right outside in the arena with Ben Kincaid once again, so we're going to throw it out to them and see how Willie feels about what just happened.
Thank you so much, Chris and Kevin. I am joined by Willie out here, our Kazuya player. first things first, how are we feeling after the victory?
I'm feeling really good. I'm really happy with how I performed tonight, and I'm even more proud of how my teammates were able to set me up for that. Honestly, I think a lot of credit goes to them especially.
Yeah, I mean, everyone played lights out here today. You went 7-1 here tonight. The rest of the team setting you up beautifully, like you said. What was it like going in knowing that, hey, I have this opportunity to run the board and do so? What was that momentum like for you going in?
I found a lot of the time, especially as mostly being in the anchor position where, you know, it's just my 3 against however many the team has left. I really try to stop myself from thinking about numbers, how many I could be taking, and really just focus on playing well as much as I can. And that sort of manifests itself in like how I get hit by like that pirate dash attack or something to lose my first stock. It's like I'm not specifically thinking, okay, I need to get as much out of the stock as possible. If I was, I might have like avoided that or like tried to think a little bit more about that. It's more so just like trying to feel in the moment, know what I can do and what I'm capable of, and a lot of the time that sort of snowballs into results like tonight, and I'm happy that it's able to be like that more so than times where I go like 2 stocks or 3 stocks, something like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it definitely snowballed to perfection right now. This was a back-to-back night for you guys. Well, I guess 2 nights rather. You had your match last night, that reschedule, and then you come in and you perform even better tonight. What is that like going in later into the week? Because I believe you have the NECC matchups coming in on Thursday. You're going to have a lot of Smash Bros going on this week. What is the preparation like, and what are you guys feeling like right now?
I mean, I think for us especially, we played Smash a lot and we really enjoy the game. So for us, it's not really like, oh, we have so much like to compete for this week and we need to be ready for it. It's more so like we get to play Smash Brothers like 3 times this week, and we all get to like sort of play and prepare and practice in this sort of very much so competitive environment. And I think that's always a great time, whether it be in the moment itself or in the moments leading up to it. It gives us an excuse to like sort of lock in, prepare, do what we can, and we know what we will have to do, you know, later in the season. And I always because it means I get to play a lot.
I mean, yeah, play a lot. You guys do. You're probably going to do you do randoms afterwards usually?
Yeah, we do. Usually after the matches, we'll spend a little bit of time de-stressing. Without, like, normally it's not like a different like activity or something. Sometimes we just play Smash Brothers just for fun. But it gives us an opportunity to sort of de-stress and unwind and get ready for the next game.
For sure, yeah. De-stress, de-wind. Great job for you guys. Congratulations on the win. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Ben. Great stuff out of Willie. Great to hear all that, right? Positive mentalities, and that's a very humble man out there, too, knowing that, you know, yeah, we out here know what he's capable of. We know that anytime he walks on the screen, we make a big deal out of it. Why? Because sometimes that just happens. But good stuff out of him. Excited to hear that, hey, 1 stock at a time, every time, and they don't view Smash as a burden, right? The more Smash they get to play in a week, the better, and I can't wait to see them again on Thursday.
This is what I love about Shenandoah's Smash Bros. Community. It feels like everyone is here, yes, to get better, but also to really just enjoy the game for what it is, and that just adds so much value to the player experience, to the competition experience, for the experience of us back here and the people in the broadcast room. We can tell when they are enjoying it, and it feeds us to then convey it to all of you. So truly, if you like seeing all of these players, please drop a follow, because it is so exciting for us to gush about all of these players, not just when they take these stock leads, but also just when they're having fun and coming up with some crazy stuff during these matches.
Absolutely. An awesome experience back here every time these guys are on camera, and an awesome experience for hopefully all of you, right? We can only hope that you guys have as much fun as we do, but that will do it for the fun here tonight. Unfortunately, all of our action in this arena has wrapped up, so we are going to call it quits. But like Kevin said, be sure to drop a follow on whatever platform you may be watching on right now, whether that's X, YouTube, or Twitch, or all of them, frankly. None of us are going to stop you, but be sure to drop a follow so that you don't miss out on any of our esports action here. But with all that said, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might just change their life, and we will see you next time.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
Nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
Is where they went 1-2. No, that
No,
was
last week,
My
yeah.
apologies. With all of that being said, that is still kind of hanging over them. They still feel the pressure to perform after that match, and they believe that that series was winnable. But when you have that kind of fire, kind of really getting underneath you to bring forth all your potential, I think we're going to see a really strong performance from our players tonight, if nothing else.
Squad, how does everyone feel getting some playtime yesterday, going into today, and really just the confidence around this team?
It's really promising and really confident when we get to sort of place these puzzle pieces, like you said, and just sort of use all of our tools that we have to our advantage. Like, we do have 5 very strong, very promising players, and it's amazing to see when we get to fit those players into their different slots.
We could really see the skill level between all of these players, but Shenandoah is not going to want that. They're wanting this series win. They're bringing that momentum we saw from the night before, and I'm looking forward to seeing that momentum again here tonight from this roster.
Little fact that Kip clearly seems to like this matchup.
That hydrant, if it was just a little bit closer, would have taken Kip out. But the trampoline does make the save this time around. The clip earlier gets its vindication, Chris. Kip places the trampoline in the right spot to survive the spike, and we do see both players starting to get up to that super high percent where just about anything will take them out. A little bit of the neutral B from Joker and a little bit of fruit from Kip means that the percentages will really rack up, but it's these last hits that
Couple casts ago was like percentage left on the board, right? It's, you know, he drew it from baseball, right?
Whoa!
The runners left on there, unfortunately, will not be able to wipe the 200% off the board. But this idea that, wow, the bell connects and a smash attack confirms. Good stuff there out of Kip, losing one stock. Yeah, Kip goes for it all, can't quite find it there. So we return back. Oh, man. Mithra's recovery, not super impressive.
This character, it feels like it should be cut and dry. You play Mithra for the early damage, trying to get those combos, and then you use Pyro.
Some heavy hitting moves that might be able to kill here, but it would take a serious misstep from Kip. Now up to 100%.
There.
Wow, there's one of them as he finds pulls the apple, but can't find it, can't get it home.
Yeah.
Now, Key comes out at the side step.
So great play calling from Little Miss, but Igloo doing a great job of securing this early percent. Now looking for these final hits as Pyra is throwing aggressive.
50%, and we talk about how these heavyweights can live for such an overwhelming amount of time. They can be so hard to take out completely, but if you're going to smash attack, 50% sounding very familiar for Igloo, as it took this much effort the first time around, but And up air, yep, off the jump.
Lot
Oh,
of
man.
aggressive calls, trying to get these back airs, going for these forward smashes to potentially break shield and secure this lead. But we also are seeing where
much. I talked a little bit with Ben about this yesterday. Yoshi, man, Yoshi can just jump out of these combos. Wow, forward air.
really equalize things. Lucas going very deep off stage and able to make it back. That speaks to the skill of this Lucas player. This isn't some random secondary. This is one that
Lucas, in a bad situation without a jump, can recover from pretty far away, but running out of options. Can Igloo make it back? He absolutely can, and Lucas mostly cannot. Very, very well defended there, knocking Ohio Wesleyan down to their last stock left.
Chris, who let these dinos fly, as well as
Some of the issues so far in this matchup, if he's able to take this stock, he gets a clean slate, at least a clean one stock, heading into the next player, but going for it all there with the up smash, one of the longest landing delays, ending lags, there we go, in the game, and is promptly punished for it. SU taking a 1-0 lead in the
considering Captain Falcon in this game is a little bit worse than he has been in previous iterations. Does that mean that he earns a spot? He absolutely by the Falco side B.
Wow, okay, we talked about offstage interactions and how every little moment can be so scary for every Smash player. Forward smash from the platform, from center stage, sending AJ all the way to the blast zone. Man, little interactions are what matter here. The laser connecting 117% now up on this Captain Falcon, and those lasers, man, they are flying out. The moment this Captain Falcon's off stage, that stuff matters.
Yeah, we do see.
Can't quite find the kill just yet, trying to go for the down gun, but can't interrupt the up B either, so we find our way back on stage 2 very high. It was so quick that I'm not even confident in that.
Yep, both players opting in for the back airs, but because AJ was able to space out that side B, it goes behind Joker, as yes, both players have secured one stock, but AJ's lead is offering him so much value. A couple of good up tilts, going off stage for the forward air, going for the back air, but it barely doesn't connect. Trying to cover the landing options, but the down smash doesn't connect either. AJ going up into the air off of the side special, won't find the back air.
Commands respect, and look at the crouch dashes immediately coming out.
Chris, we're on FD.
Chris, we're on FD.
Chris, we're on FD.
He
Joker's
might
going
just be
down. Chris, we're on Final Destination, and it's Kazuya Mishima. What are we doing, bro? What are we doing?
So that's the fun part about getting stage counterpick, right? Joker, I mean, you saw the matchup preference for all 10 seconds that we were in game. Willie got to pick the stage. He takes you to a stage where you get no platforms, you get 0 escape options.
So preferable for Kazuya. One good version of those grabs could send Mithra flying. We do see the electric combo online, immediately sent to the heavens, and he was looking for that rising Dragon Fist, I believe is what it's called. That would do so much damage. Chris, look at how crazy of an angle that sends. She's not that. Willie immediately went for it again on Pyra, getting off of that platform because it could just play the factor of that last hit. It doesn't work out this time around, but he does follow the Pyra off stage, does not get the down air to connect, but the up special will, which means another 3 stocks fall, and Willie secures another handful of stocks in exchange for 1. Rapid jabs coming out to start things off, going for the grab, securing a little bit of percent. Maybe they will be able to secure a good amount off of that Patui, but the electric reset. One quick jab, but Piranha Plant is able to say, I don't want to deal with any of that. Goes for the Patui, but it doesn't offer much as he gets hit by the Dragon Fist.
And it gets to the minute mark. Oh no, the electric is the fist is not electric. To close it out, we do elapse the minute mark, and I say that as if it's a bad thing. But the forward smash does finally finish the job, and Willie goes in, takes 3 stocks, gets a big stretch, and goes about his business. So, okay, I mean, with that, SU takes a 2-0 win in the series, right? I feel like we blinked and it was over, but
to deal with. I mean, we're talking 7 stocks here, Chris. What a menace!
Yeah, if we're picking MVPs, right? Certainly one of the stars of this series. Willie going out, taking care of business, right?
Like you said, what was it like going in knowing that, hey, I have this opportunity to run the board and do so. What was that momentum like for you going in?
I found a lot of the time, especially as mostly being in the anchor position where, you know, it's just my 3 against however many the team has left, I really try to stop myself from thinking about numbers, how many I could be taking, and really just focus on playing well as much as I can. And that sort of manifests itself in, like, how I get hit by, like, that pirate dash attack or something to lose my first stock. It's like I'm not specifically thinking, okay, I need to get as much out of the stock as possible. If I was, I might have, like, avoided that or, like, tried to think a little bit more about that. It's more so just, like, trying to feel in the moment, know what I can do and what I'm capable of, and a lot of the time that sort of snowballs into results like tonight, and I'm happy that it's able to be like that more so than times where I go like 2 stocks or 3 stocks.
Trying to take it there, scared to lose it all. I won't stand a chance, and I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake. The same mistake. Hand out, she holds. It's feeling like we've been here before. We're both so broke. That's something that'll keep us afloat. Don't walk too slow. We can't keep falling deeper again. Came too close and the taste so far from pure. A rush of blood, but we search for so much more. We've all been here before. We've all been here before. We've all been here before. Hand out, she holds. It's feeling like we've been here before. We're both so broke. That's something